Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to this another edition of Serving the People, brought to you by the Democratic Republican Party, the DRP, of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is Anissa Batiste, political leader and host of this program, and please let us start with a word of prayer. Gracious God in heaven, bless me as I speak to the people, that I may speak the truth and nothing but the truth, and that they may understand the issues well and defend their God-given rights and freedoms. In Jesus' name, amen. And now, dear viewers and listeners, we are happy to be with you once again. In this evening's program, we want to take a look at some of the issues affecting our people with respect to the protection of the right to life, as we look at how we balance tourism and foreign investment development, and the protection of the right to life and private property of our people, as well as we would like to discuss some matters pertaining to tourism in light of the soon-to-be operationalized Argyle International Airport. Let's begin with the issue pertaining to tourism investment. I'm talking specifically about a situation that has persisted for some years now, actually about 5 years since I began covering it, in the Bookament village. And this has to do with the flooding of the Bookament River, flooding the village area. In 2011, I covered a story of a family, Renrick Cordis and his family, concerning how they were negatively impacted by the flooding of the Bookament River at the time, and their concerns that the investors of the Bookament Bay Resort had not completed river defense work on the resident side of the river to ensure that they would be protected from any sort of flooding of the rivers during heavy rains. I want you to take a look back at concerns Renrick and his mother raised, where they insisted that they expressed that these things would happen even before they happened in meetings with investors and developers, and they were not listened to, and yet they suffered as a result. Take a look back down memory lane, because I want to bring you forward to 2016 and show you the latest type of flooding that is taking place there and how much worse it has become. Take a look. You would have spoken to me before and you would have expressed your concern about something like this happening.
Yes, please.
How did you feel to see that basically your fears have been realized?
Well, sometimes when you speak and people don't want to listen, they think, well, because you're a small man and you don't, understand stuff, you figure, well, because they are engineers and those sort of things. They don't want to hear from the locals. You understand? Well, this should give them a perfect example that when we say things and when we speak, it's because we who are living here for how much years know the water system, and they should also listen to us. And this could have been avoided had they done the same thing that they would have done on the other side.
And when you say they, you're referring to the investors?
Yes, the investors. And it is not easy living here at present, because every time it rains, you have to sleep, as old people that say, with one eye shut and one open, and your ears cocked. Because you never know when the river is going to tumble down. Had I gone to work, or if that was a working day, it could have been much worse. I could have lost my daughter and much more other things.
Also, if it was at night.
I understand, but I still thank God still that I have life.
Right.
But it's difficult. I didn't reach 30 years yet. And see, I've accomplished so many things, I have to lose all of it to start all over again. It's really difficult.
And even now, Renrick, I see you've been painting, you've been trying to put things back together. But you don't know if it's going to rain heavily again 2 days from now and what's going to happen. And from what I'm gathering, the river has taken a new path.
Yes.
And it is likely to take that path again. Have you been in conversation with them, and what are they saying?
Well, I've gone over there many times, and they told me that they are waiting and planning to do this side of the river there. And whenever they get the okay, they will go straight ahead and do it. They told us that in August when they had the first flooding,
Okay.
and they said within 3 weeks work would have been started. But now it gone on 2 months now, and we are still at a standstill. I mean, I can't live this way for days and months. I mean, not knowing what
this
will
is your
happen.
home. You have a house here. You have a structure here. Do you have an idea of how many other persons were affected?
Well, basically all the other houses,
On this end?
3 houses plus the Adventist school, plus a lady who living way down by the beach. So the river water was so powerful that when it came through, it flooded out all the residents.
So there was no school?
No, there was no school for the entire week. Because if you would have listened to the radio, they said this school, because we need help as well to get the water out, because the library was flooded, all the books got wet down and everything like that. So.
Okay.
And I'm not too sure if they're gonna open soon. So, yeah.
Alright.
Well, I've been living here for over 20-something years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Right? And this is the first time I ever experiencing this heavy water was in August.
Okay.
When all the rain come and the water break through and come. And then for now, this is the second time now.
Okay.
It's worse than the first time. We have meeting already over the same place.
With the investors?
With Julian Francis and the representative.
Okay.
So I told them, I said, watch, you see this river here, it will flood us. I told them so in the meeting.
Okay.
I said this river will flood us. Because I say, for example, where those investors take the river and make land and fix up their part and leave this side over here, we will get the flood down here. I said, this is part they leave the basket them in the corner there. And when the river came down now, I said it will bust the bank and overflow down here. We say people don't see how dangerous it look, you know. It won't look dangerous for them, but it look dangerous for us because we are living here and the low line. So I must know what we will get.
Right.
And you see what happened?
You are right.
We get flood out. I told them so. We will get flood out because they just leave the basket them up there and do not carry them down straight to the beach. You must to run the whole fencing right down to the beach.
Understood.
Right, so now we are feeling the pressure. We don't know if river may come down tonight or tomorrow because we are not out of the hurricane season yet.
That's correct.
So we don't know when rain come. We have to have our ears listening because we don't know now the water take another stand. The water must right in my auntie yard now in the banana there.
Okay.
Up the flat now. So when this rain come and the river come down, it's going to flow us again.
Yes, my dear people, that was the year 2011 when Rick spoke about the first major flooding in August 2011, and at that time when I was interviewing him, it was October 2011. I recall even submitting a question in Parliament when I was a senator on the opposition bench about this situation, asking the relevant authorities to indicate when the people can expect to get some sort of ease in terms of the river defense being completed on their side of the river. Between 2011 and this present day, my dear people, nothing, absolutely nothing has been done in terms of completing the river defense on the resident side of the river. And the reality is the situation has gotten much worse. Take a look at this footage, 2 pieces of footage from Renwick of the latest flooding which took place in November 2016, just late last year, when we had one of those troughs that passed us. You will observe that the water has reached further into the village. The flooding has so eroded the bankside where residents' properties are, such that trees that were in the backyard now appear to be in the middle of the river. Take a look.
This is a shot from my back porch, and you can see the river just totally invade food property. That you see in there is my storeroom. Everything inside there got to be whacked. There's a neighbor down there in the distance. You see the primary school down there. And right over there you're seeing the Buckman Bay Resort in the background. But very interesting what I want you to note that the last coconut tree down there, that's where the land ends. And if you can notice, the whole back has been flooded. There's no longer any fencing that is there. And this breadfruit tree is in my neighbor's yard. And you can see the total devastation of what the water has done to this property here in Buckerman. This is another view from the other side. Standing to the west of my house, I'm looking through the window. That's a neighbor of mine house. In the background there, that's the primary school, which has been flooded. And you can see how high the water is at this point in time. And there's another neighbor house of mine which has been flooded as well. And there you can see that breadfruit tree that is there, that's inside the yard. And my mother's house, as you can see, just there in the distance. So there's a lot of rain down here in Buckerman, a lot of flooding. I mean, something has to be done. I mean, we go through this every time it rains. We get 5 inches of rain for an hour, and this is what happened. Where I'm walking here, it's the public road in Buckerman. Very much as I enter the water. This is where buses and cars used to go to the resort. I mean, it's just total devastation here in Buckerman Bay. As you can see, it's not a very nice picture here in Buckerman Bay. It's something that I've been keep saying all the while. There you can see those persons coming up. They're walking in the public road in Buckerman. This is the houses. One of the houses that is very much underwater, and it's very bad here in Buckerman. Very, very much bad here in Buckerman. Hi, morning. Do that. As people try to get to safety. You see people there taking refuge on shops and hills. Sorry, not hills, water. There's a young lady on top of the roof that is there. And we just total devastation. This is the current representative. Basically heading down to the beach side. I'm actually in about a foot or so water. Can you see that? That's my knee. That's my knee you're seeing there. I'm heading way down. Some gentlemen walking inside the water. And on there. It's total devastation here in Buckerman Bay. And there you can see other houses that has been flooded by torrential rain. The current representative, Mr. Louis Straker, just passed by there a while ago. As you can see, Buckerman is now underwater. For those folks, it's not a pretty sight here in Buckerman Bay, because I'm actually on the public road and the water is about 6 to 7 feet. And what you're seeing here is the water actually running on the road itself. You understand? This is the part that you're going to the resort. Totally impossible at this moment. You see the destruction right here in Buckerman Bay. Very much. We are
in a crisis here in Buckerman. We are in a crisis. Very much in a crisis here. And for a while I've been speaking about this event. And if nothing is being done to this problem, we might all wake up one day and only find that there is not one damn thing left in this village here of Buckerman. We have gone through many suffering, many pains, and I think that we have had enough of this.
Did you see those things, my dear people? Did you see how high the river water was? Walking in the main road that's used by vehicles and pedestrians to get to the resort, how terrible it has become. Imagine the distress, imagine the discomfort, imagine the problem of having to clean up, and the health hazards and the risk to life, and even the school system being disturbed because the Buckerman Primary School is there, the Seventh-day Adventist School. Imagine the disturbance of the lives of these people, loss of property. We also remember that in one previous incident, we actually had loss of lives, where I recall one worker from Buckerman was actually washed away, and some other incidents. The point is, this situation has persisted for too long. There has been, in my humble opinion, criminal neglect on the part of those responsible in protecting the lives and property of the people, and it doesn't augur well for the way you want people in communities to buy in to the kind of development you're pursuing in tourism, when you don't ensure that the people are taken care of while you're pursuing development. But in the estimates debate of the estimates of expenditure and revenue that were presented this week in the Parliament, we heard the minister responsible for transport and works talking about a plan to embark upon work with respect to river defense in that area. I want to refer to the estimates. I have a copy here in my hand, thanks to one of my colleagues. This is the 2017 estimates document, which has been debated, and on page 642 we have project number 551409, and it's called Vermont River Defense. That's the project title. And when you look at the explanation, it says, and I quote, to construct river defenses at Buckerman Village, Vermont, and Francois. And we are told that $1.5 million is the estimated expenditure for the year 2017, $1.5 million, towards the construction of river defenses at Buckerman Village, Vermont, and Francois. So the people of Buckerman Village are being told by the government that they hope to spend an estimated $1.5 million on constructing river defenses, not only in Buckerman, but in Vermont and Francois. The reality is, it's 5 years too late. The flooding has gotten worse, people have suffered, people have lost a lot, and we still don't even know if this work would actually be completed in 2017. Because if you look at the history, you would observe that there was reference to constructing river defense in Vermont before, okay, and they're still looking to complete this. We know these things take time, but what I'm saying is that this has been the height of neglect and lack of care motivation for the people of Buckerman, such that their situation has worsened, and at this current time they're not even confident that something will be done. They tell you that they keep getting the run around when they talk about the need for the defense, and it is truly unfortunate. Look, we see the resort has been closed in recent times. We see all the problems with people getting paid for their labor, and all these different problems that has resulted from poor management. And now we see not only the residents have suffered, but we also see even the very main road, the infrastructure that people have to use, is being compromised because of neglecting addressing this situation for so many years, 5 years to be exact. We hope at Serving the People that the government is not just paying lip service by saying they're going to put in this $1.5 million to build the defenses, including for the people of Buckerman Village, but that it would truly be done in this year. Because after waiting for 5 years and losing so much and having to try to reclaim what you've lost, having to work hard and spend money to build again and all of that, it is truly unfortunate. It is unfair to the people, and it is failure and neglect on the part of the government to take care of the people of this country. It is truly not how governance should be done. So We hope with you, people of Bookament, Vermont, Francois, and certainly you, Renrick, we thank you for providing the footage for us. We hope for your sake and your family and all those who have been affected, all the children who couldn't go to school when the place floods out and so on, that this situation would be rectified shortly, and we will be following up and we will hold the government accountable as it ought to be. Now, in the second segment of our program, we want to say something briefly about tourism in light of Argyle International Airport development. We had a chance to visit for the 5th time. We went on an official tour of the project, and we're pleased to see where we have reached. We know that the opening will take place on the 14th of February, and we're very happy that we've reached this stage in the development of international air access to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is clear that the AIA, the Argyle International Airport, has great potential for the development of our country economically and otherwise. But its success will be dependent on how we manage it, how we, generally speaking, invest in things like tourism, agriculture, industrial development in order to maximize the potential benefits of this project. We here at the DRP are concerned that in the case of tourism development, we're not seeing sufficient injection into the marketing and product development of the destination in order for us to increase visitor demand to the destination in order for the airport and the issue of flights and so on to function as it should. I heard the Prime Minister in his estimates presentation indicate that there will be an increase of $5-point-something million to the Tourism Authority, and he indicated that it would be for airline, what you call airline guarantees. This is something that is done all over the world. Other countries like us with international airports do it, where you agree to paying guarantees to certain airlines. If, for example, on taking in your destination in a route, they suffer certain loss, there's a risk involved, and if they suffer certain loss, the destination country sometimes agrees in contracts to pay guarantees. My concern is that while this is understandable and while we expect that this will happen for a while, especially at the beginning, I would like to see the same kind of injection simultaneously into things like marketing and promotion of the destination, because you don't want to depend on airline guarantees all the time to keep bringing airlines. You want to be able to be out there so much that people know about you, that there is increased demand for your destination. They want to come, and therefore they can fill up the flights, and you wouldn't have to pay the airlines for loss that they generate because they couldn't fill their flights or whatever the case may be, or because the route is not as profitable as they thought. So what we would like to see more of is investment in tourism marketing, in product development. And when we talk about product development, we're talking about developing the sites properly, maintaining them properly, access roads to sites which have been very poorly kept over the years. I did a program in 2015, I believe it was, where we showed certain access roads to sites like Fort Charlotte and Layou petroglyphs, and they were horrible. They make for bad visitor experiences, and those things do not encourage repeat visits. We also want to see, which the DRP said we would do, we said in our manifesto that we would encourage what you call the development of income generating tourism projects, so that people would have more to come here and look at. You know, in some countries they take one product, an agricultural product like pineapple, for example, in Japan, the pineapple park, and they create an entire park out of one fruit, where they have all kinds of products made from the fruit, and people come to that park, they can tour and see how different species of pineapples are grown. They can experience eating different products made from pineapple, whether it be pineapple ice cream, pineapple cookies, whatever the case may be, and the entire attraction, the park, becomes a kind of attraction that people would want to come to your country to see, because it's not anywhere else. We have certain things we can do here like that. We have so much we could offer to people in terms of tourism, but we need to develop the right kinds of projects to do it. And I'm not satisfied that the tourism marketing department in the Tourism Authority is really getting the funds they need to do it. If you look at the reality, in our estimates, you would realize that even though last year the Prime Minister in his budget speech said that he would increase the subvention to the Tourism Authority from 12 million to 15 million, yet in reality, we do not know how much of that they actually got, and we do not know how much of that actually went to tourism marketing. Why do I say this? Because in previous years, while they would say we're giving tourism 12 million in the authority, sometimes in the actual expenditure is just 4 million, or the actual expenditure would just be 3 point something million. So in reality, we don't know exactly how much they get for marketing, but we know it is a smaller figure than what is actually approved in the estimate, significantly smaller. This is not good enough. This explains why they cannot do a lot of the things that they say they would do in their result indicators in the estimates. This explains why they cannot do the kind of things that they say in their result indicators they would like to do, and this is unacceptable. We need to be serious. In order for the Argyle International Airport to work and work successfully, we have to invest in industries so that we can increase our export, okay, so that we can actually have work and traffic for airlines coming to the country and taking out produce. We need to also increase our tourism in terms of the kind of products that people would want to come and see and use and experience, and that they would spend more. When you look at our tourism expenditure over the years, it has not been doing well. Since the year 2006, where we first recorded a tourism expenditure of $305 million for the year 2006, we have never gone back into the 300 million figure. Everything after 2006 has been in the 200 and something million figure. We never went back up to 300. And according to the ECCB report of 2016, their Economic and Financial Review report, as of September 2016, our total visitor expenditure as of September 2016 was only $199.45 million. So we have to improve. We have to research properly. We have to plan properly. We have to market properly and get the people here, get them to spend, so that we can truly maximize the potential of the Argyle International Airport. We will have more to say in another program in about 2 weeks' time. Look for this program again, Serving the People. And if you wish to reach us and to support us, call 528-1015. That's 528-1015. Thank you for viewing this program, and until next time, may God bless you.